In the fall of 1968, someone began murdering people in Northern California. They attacked couples parked at lovers' lanes. They shot victims at point-blank range. And then, they did something that no killer had ever done before. They wrote letters to the newspapers. They taunted police. They sent coded ciphers and dared anyone to figure out who they were. They called themselves the Zodiac. And more than 50 years later, we still don't know who they were. The first confirmed Zodiac attack happened on December 20th, 1968, in Benicia, California. David Faraday was 17 years old. Betty Lou Jensen was 16. They were on their first date, parked on a quiet road called Lake Herman Road. Someone pulled up behind them and opened fire. David was shot once in the head. Betty Lou ran and was shot 5 times in the back. She made it 30 feet from the car before she died. When police arrived, there were no witnesses, no clear motive, and almost no evidence. It was written off as a tragic double homicide. Nobody connected it to what was coming. 6 months later, on July 4th, 1969, the Zodiac struck again, this time in Vallejo, California. Darlene Ferrin, age 22, and Michael Mageau, age 19, were parked at Blue Rock Springs Park. A car pulled up, left, then came back. The driver got out and walked toward them with a flashlight and a gun. He shot both of them multiple times and left. Michael Mageau survived. Darlene Ferrin did not. When Michael recovered enough to speak, he described the shooter as a heavy-set white male, about 5 feet 8 inches tall, with a round face and light brown curly hair. That description would become one of the only physical clues in the entire case. What made the Zodiac different from every other serial killer in history was what happened next. 1 hour after the July 4th shooting, the Vallejo Police Department received a phone call. A man calmly said, "I want to report a double murder. If you will go 1 mile east on Columbus Parkway, you will find kids in a brown car. They were shot with a 9mm Luger. I also killed those kids last year. Goodbye." Then he hung up. 3 weeks later, on August 1st, 1969, 3 newspapers, the San Francisco Chronicle, the San Francisco Examiner, and the Vallejo Times-Herald, each received a letter. Every letter was identical, and every letter contained 1/3 of a coded cipher, 408 symbols that the writer claimed would reveal his identity. The letter began, "I like killing people because it is so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest because man is the most dangerous animal of all." He demanded the letters be printed on the front page. He threatened to go on a killing rampage if they weren't. The newspapers printed them. A high school teacher and his wife cracked the cipher in less than a week. When decoded, it read, "I like killing people because it is so much fun. It is more fun than killing wild game in the forest because man is the most dangerous animal of all. To kill something gives me the most thrilling experience. It is even better than getting your rocks off with a girl. The best part of it is, when I die, I will be reborn in paradise, and they have killed will become my slaves. I will not give you my name because you will try to slow down or atop my collection of slaves for my afterlife." The cipher never revealed a name. A month later, a 4th letter arrived at the San Francisco Examiner. This one began with 2 words. "Dear editor, this is the Zodiac speaking." It was the first time he used that name. He included details about the shootings that had never been made public, details only the killer could have known. He described what Darlene Ferrin was wearing. He described exactly how many times each victim had been shot. Law enforcement confirmed it was authentic. The Zodiac was real. On September 27th, 1969, he attacked again. This time at Lake Berryessa in Napa County. He approached Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard, who were picnicking near the lake. He was wearing a bizarre hooded costume, black with a circle and crosshairs sewn on the chest like his own symbol. He tied them up and stabbed both of them repeatedly. Cecilia Shepard was stabbed 14 times. She died 2 days later. Brian Hartnell survived. The Zodiac left a message on the door of Hartnell's car, the dates of his previous attacks with tally marks and the words "by knife" with today's date added. 2 weeks later, on October 11th, 1969, a cab driver named Paul Stein was shot and killed in San Francisco's Presidio Heights neighborhood. A witness saw the shooter exit the cab, wipe it down, then walk north into the Presidio. Police broadcast the description as a black male. Three police officers encountered a white man walking near the park matching the witness's actual description and let him go, thinking he was a witness. That man may have been the Zodiac. The Zodiac taunted police relentlessly. After the cab driver's murder, he sent a letter to the Chronicle and included a piece of Paul Stein's bloody shirt as proof. He wrote, "I am the murderer of the taxi driver." He threatened to shoot school children. He described his weapon. He sent letters with more ciphers, more threats, more taunting. One letter was addressed directly to renowned defense attorney Melvin Belly, begging for help and claiming he was losing control. Detectives across 3 counties worked the case. The FBI got involved. The case drew national attention. The Zodiac claimed in his letters to have killed 37 people, though investigators only confirmed 5 deaths and 2 survivors. Hundreds of suspects were investigated. Handwriting analysts, code breakers, and profilers all took a shot at the case. One of the biggest breaks came when a woman named Kathleen Johns reported that a stranger had offered to help her when her tire went flat on the highway. He drove her around for over an hour before she managed to escape. She later saw the Zodiac's sketch in a police station and identified him as her abductor. The most famous suspect in the case was Arthur Lee Allen, a convicted child molester and former schoolteacher from Vallejo. He matched the physical description. He owned a Zodiac watch. He had told friends before the killings that he wanted to hunt people for sport. Handwriting samples were taken. Fingerprints were compared. DNA was eventually tested after his death in 1992. None of it conclusively matched. Arthur Lee Allen died without ever being charged. The Zodiac sent 4 coded ciphers in total. The first was solved within days. The second, known as the 340 cipher because it contained 340 characters, stumped investigators for 51 years. In December 2020, a team of 3 amateur code breakers, David Orenchak, Sam Blake, and Jarl Van Eyck, finally cracked it. The decoded message read, "I hope you are having lots of fun in trying to catch me. That wasn't me on the TV show. I am not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise all the sooner. Because I now have enough slaves to work for me where everyone else has. I am not worried except that no one believes me. I do not believe there is a hell. Ha ha ha." The third cipher, known as the 13-symbol cipher, has never been solved. Some cryptographers believe it contains the Zodiac's name. Others think it may be unsolvable. To this day, it remains one of the most famous unsolved codes in history. The Zodiac Killer sent his last confirmed letter in 1974. After that, silence. No more murders were definitively linked to him. No arrest was ever made. More than 50 people have been named as suspects over the decades, including Arthur Lee Allen, Lawrence Kane, and most recently Gary Post, a former Army serviceman whose identity was put forward by a cold case team in 2021. The FBI reviewed the claim and declined to call the case closed. The case has never officially been solved. The Zodiac Killer remains one of the most notorious, unidentified serial killers in American history. Whoever he was, he knew it. He planned it that way. He wanted to be remembered. And despite everything, he got exactly what he wanted. If you found this story compelling, subscribe. We cover the cases that refuse to stay buried every single week.